bananas are everywhere. They're in your breakfast smoothie, your kid's lunchbox, and probably sitting on your kitchen counter right now, slowly turning from green to yellow to that perfect spotty stage. But have you ever stopped to think about how those bananas actually get to you? Not just the journey from the store to your home, but the wild, massive process that starts thousands of miles away. In humid fields where millions of bananas are grown, harvested, and processed every single day. It's a story that's way more complex and honestly more fascinating than most people realize. Let's start with a number that's almost hard to wrap your head around. Over 120 million tons of bananas are produced globally every year. That's more than any other tropical fruit by a long shot. India leads the pack, churning out about 30 million tons annually. China and Indonesia are next, with Brazil holding the title for the Americas. But these numbers only scratch the surface. Behind every ton, there's a carefully orchestrated system that's part science, part tradition, and part sheer human effort. Bananas aren't just a modern convenience. They're one of the oldest cultivated plants in human history. Their roots literally go back to the dense, steamy forests of Southeast Asia. The wild ancestors of today's bananas, like Musa acuminata, were nothing like the sweet, seedless fruit we know. They were small, packed with hard seeds, and not exactly snack material. Over centuries, people figured out how to cross different wild varieties, slowly breeding out the seeds and boosting the edible pulp. The result? The seedless, triploid bananas that dominate the world's markets today. These bananas can't reproduce by seed, so every single plant is a clone, grown from cuttings or tissue cultures. It's a bit mind-bending to realize that the bananas you eat are all genetic twins, descendants of a handful of ancient plants. So, how do you actually grow millions of bananas? It all starts in a lab, not a field. On big commercial farms, the process begins with micropropagation, a fancy word for cloning. Scientists take tiny pieces of healthy banana plants and grow them in sterile, nutrient-rich environments. This isn't just about efficiency, it's about survival. Bananas are vulnerable to all kinds of pests and diseases, and starting with clean, identical plants gives farmers a fighting chance. After about 7 weeks in a greenhouse, these baby banana plants are ready for the real world. They're about 40 centimeters tall, sturdy, and pest-free. Transplanting is a delicate operation. The fields are prepped with rich, organic soil, and the young plants are spaced out to give them room to breathe and grow. Bananas love sunlight, warmth, and water, but not too much water. The roots can't sit in soggy soil, or they'll rot. So farms use sophisticated irrigation systems, like sprinklers or drip lines, to deliver just the right amount of moisture. Each plant drinks up about 35 liters of water a day, which is a lot, but in the tropics, rain often does most of the work. When it pours, excess water is pumped away to keep the roots healthy. As the plants settle in, the real work begins. Bananas grow fast, really fast. Within a few months, they shoot up, and soon strange purple bracts start to appear. These bracts are like protective shields covering the delicate flowers that will eventually become bananas. At this stage, the plants need constant attention. Workers cover the developing fruit stems with special bags. These aren't just any bags, they're designed to let in light, keep out bugs, and protect the fruit from wind and rain. It's a simple trick, but it makes a huge difference in the quality and appearance of the bananas. The growing cycle is long, about 9 months from planting to harvest. During this time, the plants are fed with fertilizer 3 times a year, usually a balanced mix of nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Weeds are kept in check with mowers and mulch, and pests are managed with targeted sprays. It's a balancing act, too much intervention, and you risk chemical residues. Too little, and the crop could be wiped out by disease. One of the most interesting parts of banana farming is how the plants are supported. As the fruit bunches grow, they get heavy, sometimes up to 30 kilograms per bunch. To keep the plants from toppling over, workers tie them to sturdy supports. It's a bit like staking a tomato plant, but on a much bigger scale. This support system is crucial, especially in areas prone to strong winds or heavy rain. When the bananas are almost ready, there's a flurry of activity. Workers carefully trim away the flowers at the tips of the bananas, a process called deflowering. This helps the fruit develop evenly and prevents the tips from rotting. They also remove any lower fruits that won't mature properly, making sure the energy goes into the best bananas. 3 months after flowering, the bananas are ready to harvest. Timing is everything. Bananas are picked while they're still green but fully developed. If they're left too long, they'll ripen on the plant and won't survive the long journey to market. Harvesting is a team effort. One worker cuts the bunch from the plant while another catches it and carries it to a transport system. It's hard, physical work. Each bunch can weigh as much as a small child. After harvest, the banana plant is cut down. It only produces fruit once, but it's not the end of the line. Each plant grows in cycles with new shoots called daughter and granddaughter plants ready to take over. The old plant decomposes, feeding the next generation. At this point, the bananas are still a long way from your fruit bowl. They're loaded onto a cableway system, a kind of overhead rail with hooks that carries them to the processing center. This system can move up to 75 bunches at a time, reducing damage and saving workers from hauling heavy loads across muddy fields. But let's zoom out for a second. The banana's journey isn't just about logistics and farming, it's also about resilience and adaptation. The banana industry has faced some serious threats over the years, and it's still evolving. One of the biggest challenges is disease, especially the infamous Panama disease, also known as tropical race 4. This fungus attacks the roots and is nearly impossible to eradicate once it's in the soil. Because almost all commercial bananas are clones of the Cavendish variety, they're sitting ducks for any disease that can crack their genetic code. It's a bit like having a world full of identical twins. If one gets sick, they all do. Scientists and farmers are racing to find solutions. Some are experimenting with new banana varieties that are naturally resistant to disease, even if they look or taste a little different from the Cavendish. Others are using advanced breeding techniques or even gene editing to try to build a better banana. It's a slow process, and there's a lot at stake. If the Cavendish were to disappear, the banana industry as we know it would have to reinvent itself almost overnight. But bananas have always been about adaptation. The fruit we eat today is the result of thousands of years of human tinkering, selection, and migration. Bananas have traveled from Southeast Asia to Africa, to the Americas, and now to every corner of the globe. They've been a staple food, a cash crop, and even a symbol of global trade. The story of the banana is really the story of people, of farmers, scientists, workers, and consumers, all connected by this simple yellow fruit. And while the industrial process is impressive, there's still a lot of room for improvement. Sustainability is a growing concern. Some farms are leading the way with organic practices, reducing chemical use and protecting local ecosystems. Others are investing in better working conditions, fair wages, and community development. These changes don't happen overnight, but they're becoming more important as consumers start to ask where their food comes from and how it's produced. There's also a cultural side to bananas that's easy to overlook. In many countries, bananas aren't just a snack, they're woven into daily life. In Uganda, for example, matoke, a type of cooking banana, is a staple food, steamed and mashed for family meals. In the Caribbean, plantains, a close cousin of the banana, are fried, boiled, or baked into all kinds of dishes. Even in places where bananas are just a quick breakfast, they're part of the rhythm of daily life. And then there's the science. Bananas are packed with nutrients, vitamin C, vitamin B6, potassium, and fiber. They're easy to digest, naturally sweet, and provide a quick energy boost. That's part of why they're so popular with athletes, kids, and anyone who needs a fast, healthy snack. But there's more to it than just nutrition. Bananas contain compounds that can help regulate blood pressure, support heart health, and even improve your mood. It's no wonder they've become a global favorite. Of course, not every banana is destined for the supermarket. Some are turned into banana chips, flour, or even beer. Others are used in cosmetics, animal feed, or as a source of fiber for textiles and paper. The banana plant is incredibly versatile. Almost every part can be used for something. In some cultures, the leaves are used as plates or wrappers for cooking, while the fibers are woven into mats and baskets. So what does the future hold for bananas? It's hard to say. The industry is under pressure from disease, climate change, and shifting consumer demands. But if history's any guide, bananas will keep adapting. New varieties will emerge, farming practices will evolve, and the global supply chain will find ways to keep those yellow bunches coming. It might mean seeing different types of bananas in your local store, or paying a bit more for fruit that's grown sustainably. But the banana story is far from over. If you've made it this far, you'll probably never look at a banana the same way again. The next time you peel one, think about the journey it's been on, the science, the sweat, the ingenuity, and the global network that brought it to your hand. It's a reminder that even the simplest foods have incredible stories behind them, Stories that connect people and places all over the world. And maybe, just maybe, you'll appreciate that humble banana a little more. Not just as a snack, but as a symbol of what's possible when people, nature, and technology work together. From the steamy forests of Southeast Asia to the supermarket shelf, the banana's journey is a testament to human creativity and resilience. It's a story that's still being written, one bunch at a time.